apparently she's got the itchies and she's having a stroke back there. I don't know. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so what we are going to be doing today, or should I say, not today, this is a project that we'll be working on for the rest of the week, which you'll see bits and pieces of, is prepping for our open house. And so what you'll see in this video is Brandon, I call them show pens, so the pens that we'll set up, that the wethers and the does that are for sale, that people can get in the pen and get their hands on and really look at the animal. So Brandon will be setting those pens up. Nothing fancy. But then I will probably over the next couple days be clipping on some of the wethers and some of the does. They got a lot of winter shag on them, and I hate that you can't, like, there's just so much hair that I want them to have some shape. And so I am not a professional fitter by any stretch of the imagination, but I can clean an animal up pretty nice. And so that's what I'm going to be doing for them, is trying to get them cleaned up and so they're more presentable, kind of give people a feel for, what they'll look like down the road. But yeah, so maybe we'll do some pictures from the open house. Brandon and I are usually very, very busy, and so I don't know if we'll be able to get anything of that, but maybe hopefully something can be included. But anyway, there will be that included, and then, I don't know, this is probably one of the most stressful weeks of the year, just because there will only be 14 wethers-ish, give or take 14 wethers, and then maybe 3 does, maybe 3 does. And even then, like, I'm having a hard time letting those couple does go, because I really almost can't rationalize letting them go. But I know that there are people that would show them and show them well, and they would do our program justice by being out there and being shown well. And so, so yeah, it's very stressful. And then the part that I put off always until the very, very last moment is actually pricing them, because I always want to price them fair. I don't want anybody to ever think that we're taking advantage of them. But, Brandon and I, we put a lot of work into these animals. We put a lot of money into them and into their genetics and their feeding and their care. And, we're not doing it for free. We are doing it as a business. And so that comes at an expense too. And so it's so hard for me to rationalize whatever price it is that I'm choosing, because it's like, oh, well, I don't know, maybe that's too much. I'm asking too much. I'm being too greedy. I need to back that back down. And so it's hard. I take this whole week very, very personally, because it is exhausting trying to talk myself in and out of every direction possible. And so, so the pricing has to happen. It's coming. The bomb's going to drop, and I'm just going to have to get it done. But anyway, another thing that may change is we've had a lot of interest in doing something online. So, like, instead of having a true open house, having like a board auction or some type of way that, and maybe that is actually the more fair way to do it. I really don't know. But having some type of auction style, and whether we use like a dedicated auction house or something. And Brandon and I, we just go back and forth, because like the logistics of doing that, and making sure that that's fair, and that comes with its own set of logistics and issues and planning and people and all of that. And so I don't know, as of right now, we're not necessarily on board yet for an online sale. We're not against it, but it would I think we're driving towards that. We're just not, maybe I'm just a chicken and I'm just not there yet. But maybe, I don't know. Maybe next year we'll do some type of online sale. And then there's the part of like, I know I can sell them privately. And so the thought of like having to involve another, like an auction house or an online site or something that will take a commission, when it's like, well, I don't need them to sell. I just need their platform. And so I can't necessarily justify using that, because then they take a commission. And if I know I can sell my animals anyway, I don't know. This is the circles I talk myself in this time of year. So we're going to take you through this week in preparation for the open house, and Hopefully most of the kids will get sold. That is kind of the nice part about having a sale or an open house, is that you put everybody out there and it's kind of just done in all one big swoop, and everything's gone, or not everything usually, but most everything's gone. And so once it's done, that stress is at least gone. But anyway, yeah, so we'll take you through this week, and you can see everything that we're doing and kind of get a glimpse at the kids and what they're looking like. And yeah, so you'll just hang out with us this week. Welcome back, everyone. So what I am doing tonight in preparation for our open house is I'm going to try and go through some of these wethers and just kind of clean them up, because they got a lot. I don't know if you can see that. They have a lot of shag on them. And to be honest with you, I will probably always be really hard pressed to ever do like a true like slick shave them down for our open house, or I mean whenever we sell in the spring, just because of how variable the temperatures are here. And I couldn't imagine, I mean, our animals aren't in heated sheds, and so I could not imagine shaving them down and then making them fend for themselves in the elements. So what I'm doing tonight, we've never done this before, but these guys just have so much hair, probably because winter's been so harsh, and so they're starting to shed it out. But what I'm going to do, I have Matthew up here first. I'm going to try and get through some of these wethers the next couple nights, and maybe a couple of the does that I'll have for sale, and get them just kind of cleaned up. You know, give their booty some definition, even up their top lines if they need it. He's pretty low. He's got a lot of hair. But yeah, just clean up some of the shag, but leave them with hair so that they don't freeze to death. I wanted to add, I am not a professional clipper. Like this is such an art, and it is an art that I am still learning. So yeah, so bear with me. He's not going to be, you're not going to get me hiding anything, because I don't know how to do it anyway. Not that I would, but I don't even know how to do it anyway. So, okay, so what I'm going to do first tonight is I just got my straight comb, and I am just going to start to kind of brush out all this extra hair that he's got going on, which he has a lot of extra fuzz. There you can kind of see him. He's pretty level once he sets up. He's pretty level through his hip, and he's got a good forearm, and yeah, he's pretty good little dude. He's not the best that we have, but yeah, he's pretty good. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get a few more up on the stand, and yeah, that's my night. got the January wethers done. The ones that are wethers, the bucks I didn't trim that are in this group, but yeah, we're just doing, basically just doing quick dough cuts on them. Oh, they look pretty good. They turned out pretty well. So, and there's just a variety of styles in here. So, yeah, it'll be exciting to see how Saturday goes. Well, good morning, everyone. It is no longer Tuesday evening. It is Wednesday morning. I finished up the boys last night, and then I went to come over to the dough pen and trim up the couple of doughs that we're going to be putting on our sale. And so for starters, number 3, our dough that kitted in the January group, in the early January group, we just weaned them about 4 days ago. And when I came out to start clipping on the boys, I noticed that she was laying off in the corner of the shed by herself and just not acting herself. And which is like 3 always pops up. She's not one of the head does, but she's just an independent girl that likes to do her own thing. And so if there's ever a snack involved, she may not be head doe, but she'll come up and she's one of the first ones to get a snack. And when I had gone out before I trimmed the doughs to put some hay out, she didn't even lift her head to look at me. And it's like, oh, that's really weird. Like, that's not at all like number 3. And so I went over and she was alert, and, her eyes looked good, and her breathing, everything else seemed fine. I'm like, well, maybe she's just tired. It's been a stressful week for her. And so I came and trimmed the boys. And when I walked back out, 3 hours later, she was still laying in the exact same spot. And if you know anything about goats, you know that they never, except maybe in the overnight, and this was 4 in the afternoon, they never just lay in the same spot, like ever during the day. And she seemed to be in an even deeper sleep than what she was when I first stepped out. And so I'm like, okay, I should probably go check on her. And so I took her temperature first, 106.6, so a raging fever. Not sure from what. And so I gave her some B complex and some Draxin, which is like the one of the best antibiotics you can use, and some Banamine, obviously for her fever. And a few hours later, she got up to eat hay, and she's much more alert this morning. She's still not bouncing off the walls. I haven't gone out to grain yet, but so I need to take her temperature again, but I don't know if it matters because I'm pretty sure Banamine is either 12 or 24 hours, and so taking her temperature may not actually tell me anything right now. And I've already treated her with a very strong antibiotic, and from my experience, most antibiotics, to like see a turnaround from it, they take like 12 to 24 hours anyway. And so I'm not really going to be worried until tonight or maybe even tomorrow morning. But just the fact she was totally alert and watching me while I was out getting stuff ready to come clip. And so I'm not worried about her. But really, really, really bad news to share. Last night was just a really, really crummy night. So I treated 3, and then I had so Bones was in with the December does in the weaning shed, and he just had this little pen back here, and I had the door open. Well, I looked in on him, and he was just laying kind of funny. He was still, sternal, and he had his head up, but there was just his posture was weird. So I'm like, well, it's time to feed him. I'll go make his bottle, and I'll go check on him. And I went to make his bottle, and I brought it out, and it must have just happened. All diarrhea, like he'd been laying there in just pure diarrhea, and just as I'd looked over the fence and saw it, he shot like red mucus blood out, and it's like water blood mucus straight out. And it's like, oh my God, like what? And he was totally fine at his last feeding earlier in the afternoon. There was nothing wrong with him. So I treated him with everything I knew to treat him with, but I think at the time that I found him, he was already on the way out. So I don't know if he somehow ate something, got into something. Maybe he was just wrong. Something was wrong with him from the beginning. So he passed. Actually, I think he passed shortly after I went to bed because he wasn't really in a good way when I left him. And like the strange part was, I had taken his temperature rectally, and his temperature was totally normal, 102.7, but his mouth was ice cold, and it's just really weird. And so I'm not sure. I don't know. Could be an internal defect, could have been maybe coccidiosis, but I mean, it would have killed him within hours because I was just out here and he was totally fine. And so maybe he got into some type of bacterial infection. I don't know. It's just really, it was very, very, very quick and without warning, and it took him very, very fast. And he was otherwise totally fine yesterday afternoon. And so I think I did everything I could for him. To be honest with you, I am absolutely terrified to breed Tori again because I feel like everything to do with her this year was a dumpster fire, and I like the thought of having to go through this again with her is a little intimidating and a little scary because she's a beautiful goat, gorgeous pedigree, but this was a rough. She was the roughest kidding goat by far for so many reasons, and so I'm a little gun shy with her, but I think I just need to get over this hump and give her one more year, and just kind of hope and pray that this was just a bad year. So I don't know if Bones got a bacterial infection, coccidiosis, maybe he had an anatomical defect and it just finally reared its ugly head. I don't know. But anyways, there's that update. And so what I'm going to do now this morning is I'm going to finish trimming on the couple does that I have left to trim. And then later today, my friend Jess from County Line Show Goats she's going to come over, and I'm going to be taking some videos of some goats for some people that want wethers, but they're out of state and they can't come to the open house. And so I'm going to share links with them so that after the open house starts, they can text me and tell me if they want to reserve a certain goat or not. So anyway, that's what I'm doing this morning. I'll do a before and after of, I have our number 2 doe, Grace's doe that we're selling. And so, yeah, that's an update.
All right, so this is a before, and I am really cramped in this shed, so this isn't going to be like the best before and after. But this is a before of our 20002 goat, so 20,002 is her number. All right, so here is her after photo, if you will. So, like I said, she's this isn't my best work, but I'm also just trying to trim them. I don't want to shave them because, like, if I were shaving her for a show, I would have done a lot more work on her neck and up towards her head, and maybe worked on her belly and her legs a little bit more, but or even her back a little bit more. But it's still, the overnights are still pretty cold, and so this is just to kind of give her some shape. But yeah, she's a real pretty girl. Got a nice, pretty feminine wedge and good legs, good butt, nice long feminine neck. Especially once I bet it's shaved down, it'll look really pretty. So, yeah, this is number 2. All right, so this is my number 7 doe, and so this one is one I've decided to include in sale. But to be honest with you, I'm not actually I kind of hope nobody I don't know how to say this. I kind of hope nobody buys her because I'm definitely not going to price her to give her away because she is very, very pretty. She is one of One Horn's daughters, and I need to double check her paperwork. I'm pretty sure she's a purebred. I'm pretty sure she's 94%. But she is very pretty conformationally. She is 100% show correct. I'm only putting 2 does on the sale, and so I feel like I should put one knockout. And since I have 3 One Horns, since she had triplet daughters and they're all beautiful, this was the one that drew the short straw. And I mean, to be frank, I kind of don't want to sell her, but I can't keep them all, and she's just really pretty. and I know her mom, and her mom is just a big, girthy doe with wonderful maternal instincts. And yeah, so this is her before shot. So this is number 7, all cleaned up. Yeah, just simple clip job, nothing done, but she looks really pretty. She's one of those that a video isn't gonna do her justice. She's pretty thick. She's a solid made doe. So yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna price her for, but I'm not gonna give her away. So I guess I'm not sure if I'll be happy to see her go or not.
Ran to town and I wanted a faster solution for what I'm about to do. So normally what we do, outside of the pickup that's likely stuck in the mud because it's muddy, but we take our kennel panels here, our Master Paws ones from Menards, and we will take them and run them from this fence over here across to the middle fence. And then last year what we did, since we only had one shed, we had one run of panels that was basically if you would just take this post line to the building. But what we did is, let me see if I can get you a better view. This is why I was hoping to get some rock, but I think I'm gonna run over to Todd's and get a bale. So what we did is, you can see this fence and then you see my gate, right? Well, what we did last year to make it easier for everybody that came to the open house to pick out their wethers and the few does we had available, is I took and I ran a panel. I don't remember if it was from here or if it was on this side. Actually, I think it was here. I'll probably run it from this side. Depends on where, if we split this. But basically, I create like a little alleyway so everybody can walk into the pen. Then we use one of our gated panels so you can like squirt in here. But I block this area off on both sides with a panel, and then I connect a bunch of panels across. That way we have a contained area. We can, any of the bucks or boys that are staying, not being sold, they'll get thrown in the shed. And then kind of like Spotted Freak right there, he'll get thrown back in the shed. And then any of the boys that are for sale will be out here. So it just gives us the ability to kind of catch them, not working as big of an area. That way if somebody wants to see one and set them up or something like that, then it's a little bit easier. So I thought what I would do is get these, just some kennel clamps. I think they're for 1 3/8. They're just the one that they had at Menards. I want to say they were $2.66. There's 2 clamps in there. So I figured even if I have to, I'll just use one per set of panels. That way it'll allow me, there's a sloping contour here since this was not prepped, and it'll allow us to set these panels up and not have to worry about lining everything up and getting our double little pins set up in them. So I think that's going to work a lot better. I got 5 or 6 packs. Like I said, it only cost me 12 bucks. There's McDreamy. Spotted Freak. Look at this little porker. He is intact. He is an intact commercial buck out of Brett and Grace. And he will be going to live at County Line Show Goats with our friends Todd and Jess as one of their new herd sires. So that'll be really exciting to watch him. But he is a stout little man, and you want to talk about super well tempered. He is just the sweetest little man. So it'll be exciting. Anyway, I'm going to get some of these out and get them set up, and we'll see what happens. Okay guys, well here's what we got. Like I said, I only used 2 packs here. We'll see how this lasts. Probably wouldn't be bad to use 2. Who knows, maybe I'll change it before this weekend if they start messing with it. But we just kind of clamped them just a little bit short of center, or around center. I just kind of arced them in here so they fit, because pin's not quite wide enough. I just need to come over here and I'll probably just zip tie it to the panel, but they can still get to their water. We cleaned that up and washed that out for them the other day. Try to get that pressure washed here this spring, get her back to absolutely clean. But Like I said, this doesn't work too bad. Like I said, I've got this curved a little bit more than last year. If Shayna wants to, we can still take a couple of them and line them up, and we can always put a little bend in this where needed to match up to the center. That way, if we need to separate maybe a couple different groups for whatever reason, we could do that. But for now, we've got this up, and all we'll have to do is put one there, put one back there, and we'll be golden. Well, good morning, guys. It is March 6th. It is open house day. So it is also 10 years that me and Shayna have been together. Sorry, it's like just before 8 o'clock. The sun's right in my face, but me and Shayna have been together 10 years today, officially. It is also my mom's birthday. And like I said, it's open house day. But anyway, what I'm doing this morning is we're out here at the old manure pile. It's out back behind the sheds. And this is 2 years worth of our compost. I need to get somebody to come turn this for me. But anyway, just doing some cleanup around the yard. As you can see, we've had a pretty muddy time around here. Sorry, I can't block the sun. We've had pretty muddy time around here, and now it's good and dry. We're gonna see 76 on Tuesday. But anyway, doing some cleanup. Everybody will be here in about 2 hours for the open house. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully that goes well. Hopefully everybody finds a project that they can be happy with. And it looks like I'm gonna have some help coming. It looks like Jackie and Brooklyn are gonna climb the fence and come help me scoop poop. But like I said, just doing a little bit of cleanup, and hopefully we'll record a little bit of everybody coming and some things like that. So wish us luck.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome back. So I thought I would try and do a kind of a recap of how the open house went, and I don't know, just some general thoughts regarding all of that. So this year we had, well, how many wethers did we have? I've already forgot. We only let go of 3 does, so we've kept the rest, and then we sold a bunch of wethers. 12 wethers? I want to say it was like 12 wethers, maybe. Anyway, I'm actually recording this a few weeks after, so my memory's a little, it's already fogged over. But anyway, so overall, so what we did for our open house this year is it was, I don't know, I guess the only way you could say it is it was kind of by invite only. And so those that were either previous customers or had reached out to either Brandon or I, we invited out, and I would probably easily say, I mean, not all these people came, but I would probably easily say I had actually sent out invitations to maybe, well, probably, I think 20 families. I want to say like 20 families. And that was with no advertising, because we had enough just, I don't know what you'd call it, like organic interest. And so I didn't want to over invite and have, I mean, not that that would happen either, but I didn't want to have a bunch of people out here and then not have enough animals to fill the need. But anyway, so we only had the 3 does, I want to say like 12 wethers. And overall, we were happy with it. Sorry, there's a goat right here. Yes. We sold, the girls went super fast. They were gone really, really fast. The boys, we sold the top half, which were almost all of the best ones, sold super quick, super easy, without any pushing. They were just gone, which is great. But then, like, the frustrating part, what is going on back there? Oh, Rachel's back there doing something. The frustrating part, though, is that afterwards, well, I should say we were very, very happy selling, all the ones that we did, and we sold them for really good prices, and that was all wonderful. And I don't want to send the impression that we weren't happy with that, because we were very happy with that. But it's kind of like what happens every year. The frustrating part is that then you're left, so like the top half of the wethers sold easy, and then we had a couple wethers that they're just not show quality. They're just wethers. I mean, there's nothing special about them. And the irony is that then those bottom wethers, so like once we started advertising, those wethers sell really fast because I'm, selling them really cheap. And because after the open house, I decided I adjust the remaining goats' prices, just them down, want them to go. And those goats that, I mean, I don't have another way to explain it. Those are my bottom enders. Those are the ones that they're not the flashy ones. I knew they wouldn't sell at the open house. But, so, are you dying? I think that's number 4, having a coughing fit. But anyway, so then afterwards, they sold really fast, which is not surprising. And I figured that would happen. What happens every year that's really frustrating is that those middle wethers, so the wethers that they still can and will be and should be competitive, but they're not like the drop-dead gorgeous wethers, like the ones that have, like they have super good bone and really good structure, and they're tubular, or they're like, there's nothing flashy about them. They're not just wethers, but they're not junk wethers either. Like I shouldn't say I got that wrong. They're not the flashy wethers, but they're also not the bottom enders. They're that middle group, and that middle group is the hardest group to sell. And the only thing I can think of to even explain why they must be so hard to sell, and maybe it's my fault actually. It may be my fault. The reason why they're apparently so hard to sell is because I know that they can be competitive at least at like the local county fair level. Now I'm not going to try and pull the wool over anybody's eyes that those middle of the road wethers, they're not going to go win Arizona Nationals. Like, that's just not how that works. But they're good local competitive wethers, and that's what's so frustrating is that, what are you doing? Are you dying too, Rachel? Anyway, so that's what's so frustrating though, is that people want those wethers for less than what I can get at the sale barn, and that just gets so frustrating because I don't want to take them to the sale barn. I want them to be shown competitively, locally or, anywhere in the state. And anyway, so sorry, that's a little bit of rambling. This goat is just, apparently she's got the itchies and she's having a stroke back there. I don't know. Rachel. Now she's all dirty. Rachel. Rachel. They're all porking out back there. But anyway, back to what I was saying. So that's frustrating. At the making of this video, they're all sold. I'm just waiting for the last few to be picked up. And then we have a couple bucks that are sold that'll be picked up soon. And I mean, really, it's just a matter of everybody coming to collect their kids, and then it's just down to our keeper does and then our 2 keeper bucks. But anyway, for next year, to be honest with you, this year we had a lot of out-of-state interest, and so I tried something new. We don't have anything really built this year to try and film what I call like fancy videos. Like I don't have like a backdrop set, and I just don't have that type of setup yet. And so we just did them outdoors, and what was super frustrating is that there was a handful of people that I sent videos to. There's probably 5 or 6. There's 5 or 6 families that I sent videos to that are out of state. And what was so frustrating is that, like, we did the videos, we made the videos, put them together, and then and I'm no fool, like, I know these weren't like what you would see at like the higher level for weather videos, but that's just all we had at the time to make a video with, the facilities, and the sun was not in my favor that day. But anyway, and what was so frustrating is that the goats that I had sent were all goats that the people, how do I get this out? None of the goats that I sent the video of, nobody bought them via video, right? Which I very much agree. Wait, I'll get into that in a second. Sorry, that sun's so bright, I'm losing my train of thought. But then people that came here, because I had sent those videos out the morning of the open house, and then the people that came here bought those same goats up instantly, like with no questions asked. And that's what's frustrating, is it's like the videos, and maybe there just wasn't interest, which is totally possible, but that's what's frustrating from my end. It's like, those videos, because I wasn't super happy with them, but that's just the best that we could do this year. And it's like, yeah, like I just don't think the videos really did those boys any justice. And so, I don't know, that's kind of frustrating on my end to like try and figure out, like, we have out-of-state interest. You know, I definitely don't have a problem at all selling to out-of-state, but then it's hard because I'm not super sold on doing an online sale yet because, you know, Brandon and I, like I've said in other videos, we've been burned on online sales before because when you don't see that animal in person, you don't really know. And some stuff can be intentionally hidden, some stuff can be accidentally hidden. You know, I mean, there's just so many things that not seeing the animal in person, you just don't know what you're getting. And so, like, that's why Brandon and I have so much apprehension towards doing our own type of online sale through like SC Online or I can't think of any of those livestock sale pages, and so, or websites. And so so I don't know. I don't know. It goes so loud. She's just, can you even see her? What are you doing back there? She's like having an itchy stroke. What are you doing, Rach? But anyway, so I don't know. I don't know next year if we're going to try and save back some favorites to do an online sale, or if I'm going to try and twist my best friend's arm and we'll both go in and put some of our top animals on an online sale and try to do it like that, or maybe we'll still do the open house, or maybe I'll just freely advertise an open house, you know, barn opens, first come, first serve next year, and not have like the type of list or, you know, private invite that I did this year. I'm just not really sure. I haven't really decided, and I don't really know what serves our customers best and what serves, you know, new customers, and I don't know. It's just so many things to consider. So I guess overall, we're really happy with it. It did go well. It's just, and this year we had a lot of boys, which that makes it harder too, because about the number of boys we had left is not usually the number of boys that we have anyway. And so that makes it harder too. So this summer, we do plan, for those of you that have made it to this point in the video, we have 10 doelings that we got and we kept and we're growing out from this kidding season, and we will more than likely be in for sure one if not two sales, and we'll just be guest consigners just because we just don't have enough to actually fully consign. But we will be, and I don't even know which does. Like, if you were to come here right now and twist my arm, I don't know which one I would sell, because I can give you reasons for every single doe on this place. Rachel, what is going on? Well, it ain't mites, because I've treated that goat for mites. She just had her last treatment last night, so that's not what it is. But anyway, I don't know. We will be letting go of a few does this summer, and unfortunately, I got my finger in the way. Unfortunately, all of my does are really, really, really good, and they're all keepers, and they're all growing out really nice, and I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know. This one though, she doesn't stop stroking out. What are you doing? Come here, fatty. Come see me. Come here. I'm not sure what she's doing. Anyway, so with that, I guess all I have to say is I don't know who I'm selling this summer, and I don't know what we're doing next year. So, but I guess if you come across this video, if you want to be on a contact list for next year, whether we do it privately or if we do an online sale, or maybe at some point if we decide to do like a newsletter of what we're doing, I don't know. Lots of things to consider. It's a year away. We haven't even made those babies yet. But anyway, we are always in the works of planning and preparing for the next season. So if you happen to have interest in does or wethers for next year, even some of our summer sales, just you can comment down below on this video or contact me on one of our social pages on Instagram or Facebook, or you can shoot me an email. Our email is a Gmail. What is happening? You can shoot me an email at luckymboergoats@gmail.com, and yeah, I'll get back to you, and I'll put you on a list for next year if you happen to be so inclined. I don't know what we're doing yet, but we will cross that bridge when we get there. So anyway, that's all I got for now. So until then, we'll catch you in the next video.